Welcome back to Soulful Academics, where I teach you guys how to budget, save, and invest. Make sure you go to Soulful Academics to start your free budget today and copy the latest merch, Bitcoin to the moon. Let's get straight into the video. I'm going to be showing you guys how to recreate this thumbnail and how to make your own thumbnails using Adobe Photoshop. Make sure you subscribe to Adobe Photoshop monthly for $22 a month if you're in school. And this is actually worth it. I started in January and it's the best investment I made for my YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go to a new file, and we want to adjust the width to 1920 pixels and the height to 1080, and then the resolution 300. And this is the perfect size for a YouTube thumbnail. And after that, we're going to leave the settings default from wherever it is on the bottom and hit create. From there, we got a black template, which is our background. On the right bottom, we see our layers. This is where you add different images, custom text, or whatever you need, and you edit each individual one off the layers. And I'll show you guys more into that as we get more into the video. But on the left, we got the tools. So this button, the first one right here, is where you select certain objects on your thumbnail. On the bottom of that is the artboard tool. Creates, moves, and resizes multiple canvases. We have the rectangle marquee tool. Makes selection the shape of rectangles. And we have the selection brush. We're going to use this one a lot as YouTube thumbnail makers. You can select certain places on the object and you can change it, the brightness, the color of it, whatever you want. And we have the eraser tool, which just changes pixels in a background color or makes them transparent. So you can erase certain parts of your image with this tool. It's a very useful tool. And we have the text tool, where you can create text and you can type words based on the characters that you have with different fonts. And the rest of them are pretty much explanatory. I don't pretty much use the rest of them, but you can use them if you want to. But I'm going to show you guys the most useful tools that you need to use. So the first thing we got to do to get started is right click the background and we hit layer from background. What this is doing is getting this picture away from the background so we can edit it and change it to anything we want. So if I was to right click this and then we hit blending options, I can hit a little gradient and now boom, we have a nice little background like that. And you can change the gradient if you hit the gradient right here and then you go down of these folders, and we can hit like a nice little gold gradient. We can hit like a nice little green gradient, nice little blue, and so far you can choose all these different gradients. They got purples, and you can edit as much as you want based off the style and theme of your thumbnail. So that's how you change the background. Okay, so I showed you guys a nice little tool, the gradient side. So let's get into the thumbnail. Let's open up our main image, guys. So we gotta hit open, and I gotta open up a picture of myself. Get a picture of yourself and then import it to your project. And we're gonna hit Control C for Windows or Command C for Mac. I'm a Macintosh user, so I'm going ahead and hit Command C to copy my image. Go back to the background image. Now boom, we're gonna hit Control V for Windows or Command V for Mac users. And after that, we're gonna go scroll up to the top of the page, select this part right here so we can shrink our image, so we can adjust it because it's too large right now. Right now we got to keep shrinking it so it's adjustable, and our head and our shoulders are between the middle of the background. And that looks pretty better than what it was. I like it like this right here. I can expand it a little bit more because you are the main part of your thumbnail. Depending on what kind of thumbnail you're making, you can have obvious things, different objects in the background and the sides. But right now, it's perfect size right now. So let's go on to the next step. Next, what we're gonna do is edit more of our facial features and our clothing. So what we're gonna do is go to our toolbar and we're gonna hit that selection brush. This is a great tool, guys. I'm gonna show you guys how to use it. So we're just gonna brush up all on the face. And you see guys, I went a little bit overboard, but don't worry if you mess up. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can go back and erase. Now boom, once you get your face and your neck, any part of your skin, you want to go ahead and go to window at the top. And then once you see window, you want to hit adjustments. This is going to bring up the adjustments tools where you can select the brightness, contrast, levels, curves, hue and saturation, and good things like that. So we're going to go ahead and go to brightness and contrast. So right now we're turning up the brightness of the image. You see, y'all can tell the difference. It gets darker and then it gets real bright. So you want to make it look as natural as possible. So I want to make it look like a studio professional picture. So I'm going to turn up the brightness a little bit better to about 12, and I'm going to turn up the saturation. So now it gives it that nice little AI studio effect. And from there, I'm going to go ahead, keep brushing up on my shirt. Again, don't worry about if you mess up. We can always erase back later. So as we brush up on our shirt, you want to get every detail inside the shirt. Don't leave any spaces behind. Don't leave any gaps, because we're going to follow solid color through our shirt and fill it with a whole different color. No, because we don't want it red right now. We might want it a different color. So that's a nice thing about Adobe. You can change individual parts and layers on your picture, your thumbnail. You can pretty much edit anything that you want to, or you come in mind, using the selection tool. So after that, we've highlighted basically our whole shirt. Make sure I'm going over it again, just in case I didn't miss anything I don't see. Just because whenever you go over it once, you can pretty much have to go over it once, or you might have to do it all over again. So after that, we select window again and we hit adjustments. But this time, deselect it and select it again so we can go back to the hue and saturation. From here, we can change the different color of our shirt. And I'm liking like the orange, the yellow. The yellow looks nice. The green even looks good too. So we want to select a color based off the theme of our thumbnail. And ours is going to be pretty much like very something that stands out. So let's go with like pink. And we can turn up the saturation a little bit on this one. Make sure you don't turn it up too much, because we want to make it look as natural as possible. And now boom, let's go like that right now. And now next, we can drag ourselves and we'll go ahead and go to the next step. Next, you want to get the next part of your object that's going to be in your thumbnail, and go ahead and import it to your thumbnail. Mine is going to be this iPhone right here. And if you want more stock images like this, make sure you use Adobe Stock. They have some great stock images for you to add to your thumbnails, and also use Adobe Generate Image. They have nice backgrounds that you can use as well. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just remove the background for this image. So what we're going to do is go down to generate. Actually, go back up to the top and deselect the adjustments, because it's missing our properties window where we can hit remove background. Actually, so once we got our image imported for our next object, we went ahead and hit right click on background, and then we'll hit layer from background. What this does is make it where we can individually adjust this image and separate it from the background. So now we're going to hit remove background. Now boom, we just got our solid phone right here. We don't have any background noise. That remove background on Adobe is a very nice feature, so make sure you take advantage of it if you need to use a remove background. And also, I used the remove background on this one too as well. I just didn't show you guys how to use it. I had a background image, but if y'all need me to show y'all how to do it, I just showed you how to use it on the iPhone. Because I seen it was white before here. If I undo, hit Control Z, there's a background right here, but I just opened up the image, added down to the template. It's gonna open it down here, and then once you layer it from the background, you'll be able to hit remove from background, and that's how you remove any background image from your thumbnails, for your thumbnails. So back there, we're gonna Control C or Command C. I'm gonna go ahead and go to our thumbnail that we're working on. I'm gonna hit Command V or Control C and go ahead and select the object. If you want to undo, go ahead and hit Command C so you can undo anything you mess up. Oh, I think I dragged my brightness, so I'm going ahead and undo again. This thing is tricky. It's hiding behind me, so I gotta make sure I'm selecting the object. Nope, I'm grabbing the brightness again. So what this helps it to do is go ahead and convert these to smart objects. That way it's already blended into one layer and everything is nice and organized. So I'm gonna go ahead and convert that to smart object. I'm gonna double click right here. Now boom, I dragged it out. And you see that remove background sometimes tends to mess up your images. It doesn't perfectly remove background, but that's okay in this circumstance. You can always use other tools to get back part of the image that you need. But this video, we don't need to do that because we're gonna overlay something on this iPhone screen. So let's go ahead and adjust the phone so it's appealing to the audience eye. So people, as soon as they look at the middle of the thumbnail, they're also seeing the phone as well. So make this enlarged. And now go ahead and get our next image. Next steps is what we're going to do is go ahead and import the image that's going to display on our mobile device. So we're going to go to File, Open, and look for that screenshot we had in our downloads. So right here, boom, I'm going to go ahead and open this. And you see, whenever you open up an image, it automatically goes to the background. You want to remove that from the background by going to right click this background and hit layer from background. So we're just repeating the steps again. Hit Control C or Command C. Now double click that again, make sure it's copied. Hit Control C again just to make sure. You can see it copied by that edit button, hitting copy at the top. Now boom, go back to our thumbnail. Now we're gonna hit Control V or Command V, and then go ahead, add this right in the middle of our phone screen. We want to make this look as natural as possible as well. So first, we got to make sure that it's aligned with the iPhone. So if we got to adjust the iPhone a little bit bigger, we can do that. So now it looks like our investing screenshot is displaying on the top of the iPhone, but it doesn't look as natural as we want it. So what we got to do is either expand the iPhone size, or we gotta decrease the size of our screenshot. So right now what I'm gonna do is increase the size of our iPhone. But yeah, it still doesn't look as natural as we want it. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is remove these corners so we can blend in with the iPhone. After we enlarge in our iPhone a little bit more. So now we're gonna go to the eraser tool. Hit eraser tool on the left in our tool section, and now we're going to try to click. It says a smart object must be re-exercised before proceeding. Hit OK. So now boom. Oh, that's actually the wrong part we're removing right now. We want to go back to the image that we aligned on top of the mobile device. So now we can remove in the mobile device image, but we're keeping the background for the so you want to keep playing around with this. If you mess up, just keep hitting Control Undo. We're just trying to bend the corners so it looks as much as natural as possible for part of the iPhone. Doing the same thing on the other side. Do the same thing on this side. We're just edging out those corners. And that looks a little better. But right now, I'm still not behind the phone screenshot. So what we can do right here is get the phone right there. We don't want it in front of us, we want it behind us. So we gotta mess around with these layers. So what we gotta do is either put this up in front of us at the top and actually move the saturation as well on the top and the brightness layer on top. So that way this is behind us. So that's perfect, guys. If you always want to align these layers so it's coming from the bottom to the top. So the most bottom is where it's going to be behind. So think about it as a book. So the book is going to be having from left to right. So whenever you're messing with layers, the first thing that's going to be shown is the phone, because that's the most thing in the back. And then next is the screenshot we have provided. And after that is me. And after that is the saturation and the brightness adjustments we made. It's right here and there. And now we got our layers all aligned. Let's go on to the next step. Next, we want to go ahead and add our text to the left of us. So we want to make sure that the text are nice, large, where we can see it from a distance. So the title of this is going to be called Investing Course. So we're going to go ahead, make sure we type in every word or that we have or every sentence separately in different layers. So first word is going to be word investing right here. And the next steps is we're going to actually edit this when we come back. But we'll go ahead and finish our next word, investing course. So right now, the type of, you can actually change your type of text. If you go to websites that have different types of text that you can download, and you can actually add them into Adobe real easy. Right now, I'm using the Super Mario type of text, and I downloaded this one from, not sure, but I put it in the link in the description so you guys can get this type of text that I'm using for my thumbnails. But you can also look it up and you can download different ones. They already have some default ones on your computer right now, but you can always play around with different ones. And you want to keep the same theme, use the same type of fonts. I use like Font Awesome. This is where I got my type of font right now, and you always want to keep playing around with one that best works for your thumbnails. I found that this one works good with me, but I will always be changing in the future. So investing course, and now boom, we can go ahead and put like another little text a little smaller with parentheses, then put the word beginners, so people know that they can come into the video with no experience. Just like how this video is for beginners, because I step by step walk you guys through. So boom, you want this one to be small, so it goes from big to a little smaller. See how those words overlap behind our heads? That's good. It's because we adjusted our layers earlier. Investing course, beginners. That looks great. Okay. We can make this a little bigger. Now that looks perfect. And now we want to edit, customize our fonts. So boom, we want to go ahead and hit right click on the first word, investing, okay? And now we're going to pull up blending options. Blending options, layer styles, where you can edit any type of layer that you have. So you can put a stroke on it, which just outlines the text outside of it, or you can put the inner shadow, puts a shadow inside the text. You can put an inner glow. You can actually put a satin that makes it darker, and you can actually put a gradient overlay, is what I usually like to use. Gradient overlay is always going to come in handy whenever you try to edit your text or your fonts or any type of really object. So I want to make this one gold, investing. And then you can put a little outer glow on that one right there. This outer glow feature is one of my favorites for Adobe. You're going to be using this one a lot. Or sometimes even the inner glow is good too. See how it makes it look more 3D-ish? So we're going to go and invest in it right there, coarse. So we're going to do the same thing, right click on coarse by selecting the coarse layer and then hit right click on it, then go into blending options. We're going to hit inner glow. We're going to hit gradient overlay. We're going to do outer glow. And this time let's change up the color for the gradient overlay. I'm thinking like a more of a red because it's like crash course. So go ahead and hit OK. Now for beginners, let's go ahead and change that up by going right clicking on beginners, hitting blending options, and hitting stroke. Let's go with gradient overlay again, outer glow, and let's get that inner glow too as well. That looks cold. Okay, let's actually change the gradient color to this one where we can get a little more attractive one. Okay, I like these three colors. It's nice little blend with these colors, but you can always play around with it, select what's best. I like that one better. So boom, that's our font right now. We got our objects, we got our background objects. Sometimes you want to have a background image in this picture or this thumbnail. We don't necessarily always need a background image. We want to keep it black right now, but I showed you guys how to change the background. All you gotta do is add a picture and drag it all the way down to the bottom of the layer, because what I said, the background starts from the bottom and then it goes from the top. So now next, let's go ahead and keep editing up this thumbnail and get its nice final touches. So next steps, we're gonna go ahead and get the money and add it. We got this from Adobe Stock as well. Adobe Stock always comes in handy with useful stock images. I mean, I know you gotta pay for it a month, but if you pay for Adobe, you get Adobe Stock as well. So you can download images on there. So we're gonna go ahead and paste our Adobe Stock image. And like I said, this is in front of our thumbnail. We don't want it right here. It's just gonna throw it off. So what we gotta do is the layers at the top of our thumbnail. Remember I said if you wanna move things to the back, you gotta move the layer down. So what we do is move the layer down, and we got cash behind me, but it's still not where I want it to be, in the way of the tablet or our phone in our investing text. So let's go ahead and move it down again all the way to the bottom, and that's better. So now it's out of the way of the iPhone and it's behind me where I want it. So boom, I like where it's at right now. So let's go ahead, we can position this cash. We can rotate it like something was getting thrown at us. It's a wind blow right there. And we can actually right click and we can change the perspective of the cash. So we can go like this and make it seem like it's blowing or pulling us in. Now we can right click on that again, convert that to a smart object, and we're gonna duplicate this image. We're gonna go ahead and give this twice so we can act like there's more cash behind us. We can just move it again and do the same thing. We can duplicate it one more time. Boom. But this one right here, we're gonna hit Control T so we can change the positioning, perspective, and stuff like that on this one and rotate it a bit more. So boom, that looks better. Okay, now we got the cash behind us. Now, what else we can do next is adjust ourselves more. So I'm now going to show you guys the sauce of how you can add a nice little glow behind you that these YouTubers use, that they use to get more views and be more attractive on their thumbnails. I already showed you guys how to adjust the facial fixtures and your clothing on it. Now let's look at how we can pop out more with glows. Now we're gonna hit right click on our image of ourselves. We're gonna hit blending options. Now this pulls up what we see before, the layer style. I showed you guys how to add the outer glow on the text. Let's add it to ourselves. Now I'm gonna hit the outer glow button. Now we can do an inner glow as well. That inner glow looks real good on Adobe. You don't even have to draw nothing or anything. I know there's YouTubers that like to draw the top of the glow, but this is the best way you can do it for the best effect. Me personally, I believe. So we can change the color of the glow. You want to make sure it always blends in nice with what the thumbnail is looking like, the colors. I like how that green looks. That green looks real good. The outer glow, let's adjust it because it's not really giving us a nice outer glow. The outer glow can be something like green as well. Okay, and you notice the inner glow is showing on our shirt, and that's cool. You know, it makes it look like it's a 3D shirt. But if you don't like that, you can always adjust that too as well by just adjusting the color of the shirt. So if we go back to the color of the shirt, which was that huey right here, we can change the color to something more lighter, because since the inner glow is bouncing off the color of our shirt, we can go with something more natural, and then we can even match the color of the investing sign up there. And so we can notice the color of our glow is green. If we put that on top of pink, it's gonna make a red color. So let's go with more of that goldish color that's on that sign of our investing. And that's perfect. And you can see this little red showing still. So what we can do is get the eraser tool and brush that up again on our shirt. Oh, something wrong right there. Where is that one at? Actually right here. So boom. Get rid of the excess green. We can expand it again. Go back to the eraser tool. Get rid of the excess green. Go a little too far. And if it's a little red showing or the color of our natural shirt, it's okay, guys. I mean, you won't be able to see it as much. And that's cool with me right now. Let's go ahead and get this glow a little more, a better effect. You can do this by duplicating the layer. So if we duplicate this image right here, because right now we already have our brightness adjusted and stuff like that. So we hit right click and duplicate the layer. That's how you can get a stronger inner glow and outer glow. So boom, we got a second duplicate, and we can do it one more time. Let's just see the color and the glows getting an effect off. Our clothing. And this blue is still showing in the background, so we can go ahead and erase that because that's not really what we intended on doing. That was part of the SUI. Okay guys, our thumbnail's coming together. We can always sharpen up our facial look too as well. We can go ahead, open up that selection tool, color more on our face. Get our whole face right here, or we can turn up the brightness again and the saturation, so we can get really that AI full look. So we can add some final touches to this thumbnail. So go to adjustments after hitting window at the top. Now we can pull up that brightness / contrast. Let's go ahead, turn up that brightness again. Now we can turn up that contrast. Now boom, that nice little AI effect is looking us more like a cartoon YouTube thumbnail. Now we're coming to life with this thumbnail. Now boom, that's our final touch with this thumbnail. If y'all liked and enjoyed this thumbnail, as we made this thumbnail from scratch, having no experience, I showed you guys the different tools on the left. The main tools you're going to be using as an editor for YouTube thumbnails is the selection brush, even the text, and you can draw squares and use shapes. And there's going to be paintbrushes as well too, but you don't even have to use the paintbrushes unless you want to, and you got the iPad. But I showed you guys how to adjust the different levels of brightness and contrast, and use the hue saturation tool, and even open up images and add them to your thumbnail, remove the backgrounds. And this is gonna wrap it up, guys, for our thumbnail, guys. Hope y'all guys like this style of thumbnail, especially the glow effect for this one. And you can always turn up the glow by just duplicating and adjusting the opacity. But you don't always, I don't want a strong glow for this thumbnail, but you can always do that for your thumbnails. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and you share this video so people can see this and learn how to use Adobe in 2025, as it is the best graphical design concept software to use right now. And you can edit videos and even edit thumbnails for YouTube content creators, business owners, or even web developers. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know if y'all want to see another one of this video, how I make my thumbnails, so you guys can start making your thumbnails and start your YouTube channel today, so you can increase your viewership times 1,000%.
Like the dove on a temple bounding, faith in the Lord, I know to move a mountain.
I stole my love and make it countless. I've been in the flu, but I never drowned it. Life is tough on a simple bounty. Faith in the Lord, I never move a mountain. As I sow, I shall reap. There's an outcome to our deeds. So I practice what I preach. Yet I'm covered in the spirit. From my head to my feet. What I want is not a need. She keep begging me to stay. Something's telling me to leave. I stole my love and make it countless. I've been in the flood, but I never drowned it. Life is tough on a simple bounty. Faith in the Lord, I never move a mountain.